There it goes, it's recording now.
Do we want to do a little closer or?
Yeah, zoom in. That look good?
See, because they're sitting back on the couch and we sat in
I can
front.
scoot forward.
I know, we're just fix the, yeah, I think you do want to scoot forward. Sorry, this is not, we're not in a film studio.
No,
That look better? It's,
Yeah.
it's still recording, so we get all this on tape.
Like,
good?
yeah, that's good. Very good. We'll just take that part off.
I imagine you've got to edit around a lot of things.
Yeah, we won't take all the content. You can't take it all, but capturing the salient points is important. So, who are you?
Good, sir.
Well, I'm LeAndra Baker, and this is my husband, Sam Baker. And we own Brutus and Missy, both of whom Natalie has trained. Well, Natalie trained Brutus earlier this year, and then she's in the process of training Missy right now. So
Missy's that little
Little
the little
Little
teeny.
teeny black one.
How big is Brutus?
he's 8 pounds now.
The last we measured him, he was a little over 7, but yeah, I'm pretty sure he's close to 8. So he's on the big side.
On Yorkies.
Yeah, of Yorkies, and yeah, we like it that way. He's a big dog in a little body, so the bigger he gets, the better it is for him,
Because he thinks he can take on the world.
So how did you find Natalie and what did you want her to do for you?
I didn't know Natalie from Adam. However, my wife made the connection, so I know Natalie through my wife.
So, Natalie is somebody that I've kind of known forever, and my mom mentioned, because her mom and my mom are friends, my mom mentioned that she trains dogs, and so when we were thinking about getting a dog, it just kind of, I was like, well, I work and he works, and we kind of didn't want to take on a little puppy and try to train all of the aspects that we wanted of a well-trained pup. And so I asked if she had availability, and she happened to, and so we went and found a puppy and she took him on. So that was fun.
What were you looking for the dog to, what did you want the dog to be trained on?
Our priorities are, because we have, it's just the two of us at home, but we both have really big families and we interact with them a lot. We wanted a puppy that was well behaved around people and was friendly with people and was able to, interact with the world and be friendly, which Brutus is.
We also came from living in an apartment where we weren't allowed to have pets, and we were moving to another place where we were allowed to have pets, but living around other people in a shared fourplex or community type environment. We also, house trained, and a dog that wasn't very yappy was a big priority to us. So that's been one of our concerns. We wanted a smaller dog, being an inside dog, but one that wasn't too noisy for the neighbors. So.
Are Yorkies normally noisy?
Yes.
Wow.
They're very.
I watched a little YouTube video yesterday about the 10 most naughty dogs. I don't know who put or what data they used, but Yorkies were ranked number 2 as far as most naughty dogs. So.
They're smart puppies, and they always think that they're like a big dog.
Well, at least
that
Brutus
just
does.
happens to be in a small body. No, it's like true to the breed.
Systemic to the breed.
Systemic to the breed.
Systemic.
But yeah, the Yorkies think that they're just big dogs, and they're really little bodies.
So why did you get another one? Now you have 2, right?
Yes, now we have 2. Do you want to tell that story?
Well, we didn't get him to breed. Brutus is a boy, Missy is a girl. Brutus is fixed now, and Missy will be. We're just not in the breeding business. So they are companion pets. And what we found with Brutus is he is super duper high energy. More so than really my wife or I had the capacity to meet that need. And
Cute.
we had this harebrained idea that maybe if we got him a friend to play with, they could expel their energy together, leaving more energy for my wife and I to not be part of that equation. But then the same parameters apply to Missy and house train, not so yappy, you know, these things that we also want in her. So, but yeah, so we gave Brutus a little sister to enjoy and have a companion with.
So, yeah, and because I work from home, and so he's home with me all day, and I don't necessarily get out and have interaction with a whole bunch of people, but he is such a people person. Like, he loves people and he loves other dogs. And
Well, and it surprised me just how social, because growing up we had a few dogs, but they were big dogs, they were outside dogs, and they're so easy to put in a kennel by themselves, forgotten forever, and that's just what their sad life gets to be. And it's actually kind of surprised me, coming from that, being raised from that, to having an indoor dog like Brutus is. It surprised me how social dogs are. And I think a lot of people who aren't dog people don't quite grasp how social dogs are as animals.
and how
So,
interactive they need and want to be, and how much they're just like, be there and play with me, and I want to learn, and they're smart.
And as far as Brutus is concerned, I come home for one reason. And that's to play with him. That's the only reason I come home is for that.
Yep. He can be exhausted from his work day, but as soon as he walks in the door, Brutus is like, "All my toys, and Dad, you're here!" And
All the time. He brings his toys right up to me. He wants me to see what he's been working on today. You know, he broke a piece off of his bully stick. And first thing he did, I laid on the bed, he brought it right up to me, set it right in front of me, and was like, I broke this off today. Like, that's what I worked on today. It was just adorable. But no, it just surprised me how social dogs are as creatures.
How has it changed you as people?
oh man, I feel like we grew a lot. Going from two people to like two adults that are able to just, you know, I can do my thing, he can do his thing. We're gonna survive, to suddenly having a dog that needs us to feed him and interact with him and everything. It was kind of overwhelming at first, and I remember thinking, I'm really, 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 really grateful that for those first weeks, Natalie was there to kind of interact with him and get him through a lot of the training and get the really base foundation of everything, so that I wasn't having to do that on top of the introduction of somebody else in our space. And it was just really good. And it's funny because I forget sometimes. You know, he's a puppy. He's like 9 months old right now.
Something like that.
And so he's really hyper, and he's really like loves life, and he has quirks about him, that like behaviors that are not necessarily the totally worked out yet. But I forget how well he is trained until I get around dogs.
Other dogs.
that aren't trained, other dogs that haven't been to a professional trainer, and other dogs that don't have that foundation that he does. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I can't say lucked out, but I feel like we did a really good job of like finding a good foundation to start him with.
As far as lifestyle changes go, you know, going over family is a whole ordeal now. You know, because you have a dog bag that you're bringing, which is the dog equivalent of a diaper bag, to be honest. You know, the kennel, we've upgraded to a little bit bigger car. Now we have kennel and other things to bring, but just things like you just have to be mindful. You know, you want to go catch a movie. Well, now instead of just doing it on the fly because you're two young people with no living, breathing things that depend on you, you can just go do what you want. Once you have that, you got to be mindful of, all right, what are we going to do with Brutus? Does he need to go on a walk before we go so he's got some of his energy expended? So it is a little bit of a lifestyle change, which is another thing. We actually go on walks now. Like, I can tell you, we probably, as a married couple, when you're dating somebody, you go on walks because that's what you do, right? But once you get married, you gotta go on a walk. And we probably went on a walk maybe a half a dozen times in our entire married life until we had Brutus. Now we do that in a week. So, it's a little bit more of a lifestyle change. And that's going to depend on the kind of dog you get too. I mean, Natalie, for her lifestyle, she wanted a dog that was, smarter, bigger, and more active than our little Yorkie. And I'm sure she spends a good percentage of her life just out walking. Would be my guess. But so yeah, I mean there are considerations to consider.
But what about the whole feeling of, do you feel happier?
Yeah, Brutus is a really good reflection of like my mood. Like if
Extremely so. It's weird.
If I'm like sad or if I'm like having a hard time, yesterday it was our day to cuddle. Like I was kind of feeling a little bit just like slower, I guess, in my routine of my day, and he would let me get up to go work, but if I was away from the bed for longer than about 5 minutes, he'd come and find me and be like, okay, come lay down again, like come snuggle with me, come pet me, come love me. And he's really like, and he'll pick up when I'm tired or when I'm angry or when I'm sad, and he'll just kind of be like, hi, I love you. Like even in his puppy craziness, he will come and just be like, come play with me and come love me and come smile because I want to cheer you up. And it's really, he's good that way.
Well, it's weird when you're in a relationship with a person because you get used to each other. You just do. And the funny thing is about Brutus, and maybe we just haven't had him long enough, but it doesn't matter. Every single day, even not even if it's been a full day, if I came home at lunch or whatever, he is always happy to see me. It's like the first time he's seen me in months. Every single time.
It's like, you're home, you're home, you're home, you're home, you're home.
And so to have somebody so over the top excited about you, like, I don't know, I've never had like someone who's my cheerleader every time I come home. And so, I mean, that's kind of cool. I guess it's one of the things I take that's selfish, is that he loves me for no reason. So, yeah, I'd say happier. There is a certain amount of I feel like with Brutus in our space, some of the time that some of the personal quality time that I otherwise would have spent with my wife is being spent with Brutus. Just playing with him, or and then it gets to be 9:30 and you're tired, and so you just, in some ways it's like I've come home to Brutus instead of come home to my sweetheart. So there's that to consider, I guess. I guess if I guess for some people that could end up interpreting, especially if one person in a relationship really wants the dog and the other one is mute or doesn't, I could see that actually creating distance in someone's relationship. We both have really enjoyed Brutus. We're on board to get Brutus and Missy. So I think because it's something we both commonly value, it doesn't create a negative impact in our relationship.
Seems like it's positive. You look really happy.
Yeah. Yeah, we love them.
Ask Natalie. I look happy all the time.
Now, there's always been said that the endorphins that you get from a dog, you just feel better every day when you pet them. They look at you. Do you feel those endorphins?
I get a certain amount of satisfaction playing with Brutus. To say it's any different than playing with my niece or nephew or something like that, I wouldn't say so. But I get to come home every night to my to Brutus, I don't to a handful of little curtain climbers. So.
Less
So, yeah.
fattening than chocolate.
The closest thing closest thing that I've been able to compare having Brutus would be to having a child. And I had never quite understood the term fur babies until I had one. Because I know in so many ways there are similarities, and no, they're not necessarily a person or a human or these different things, but there are definite and interesting similarities.
Well, Natalie trains that way. She says they're your babies. Yeah.
Yeah, but then she lets them go after so many weeks. I'm afraid if she does have kids, 8 weeks will go by and she'll be like, all right, who wants this one?
No.
It breaks my heart when they leave. It really does. I trained them myself. I pulled up on my first one. I cried. The first one was gone. You can't just give them up like that. You can't.
You weren't sure you wanted me to take Gabby to the hotel last night. I thought it was personal.
I was fine with that.
No, we had, with Brutus, we brought him directly from the breeder to Natalie's house. And so he didn't stay with us at all between. With Missy, she actually came from the breeder and stayed with us for a little bit before Natalie had space to
About
take
a week
her.
and a half, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that first day after we dropped her off, both Brutus and I were like, we're not sure what to do with ourselves, because suddenly there's this dog that was there that we kind of oriented our week around, and I don't know, with Brutus, he's old enough that he's basically self-sustaining, I guess. Like, yeah, he needs me. He doesn't need me as much as an 8-week-old puppy, And so to have him, he and I have our routine, and we have our day, and we have our schedule. And Missy was very much, because she's so little, she, it's every hour or every, checking on her constantly and making sure that she's okay, and seeing. And just there's always this constant awareness of like, where's the puppy and what's she doing and is she okay? And to not have that, it was like, what, where? Suddenly I'm not sure what to do with all of this. So on the one hand, it's really nice to have Natalie because she takes care of a good portion of that. On the other hand, I can totally see that it's really sad to have her puppies go to new homes, even though it's good. But you kind of have to orient your day differently without a puppy.
And I was working north for most of the time that we had Missy. So, I saw her a couple of weekends before she went to Natalie. But that's, I didn't have nearly the same mothering story that my wife does. So.
That's great. Well, I appreciate it that you did the ride down here in the snow for the interview. It's really pretty amazing. Will they get to see Missy before they leave?
That'd be awesome.
When we're done, I think
Thank you. I really appreciate it.